Morning, everybody. Thank you very much to the Accelerate Kentucky team for giving me the opportunity to come here and talk to you all today, and to Vince for the warm introduction, and to MIT for working with Kentucky and helping in this mission I think all of us share, which is to build the best entrepreneurial ecosystem that Kentucky can ever have. You said, Phil, earlier that MIT is a bit blue collar, that they have good ideas and bring them to impact. It's probably why our two areas get along so well. I think that describes Kentucky very, very well. We have a long history of having good ideas and bringing them to impact, from fried chicken to healthcare to mattresses to software to bourbon and everything in between. And we have particular strengths in a lot of these blue-collar industries and businesses. We are one of the top automotive manufacturers in the United States. And that is only continuing to thrive with the recent announcement from Ford and SK investing in Kentucky in blue-collar industries, and from Toyota right after that announcing that they're going to do a hydrogen fuel cell right here in Georgetown, Kentucky. We're one of the top places in the world for metals and advanced materials. VJ's here and part of the funders and also participants in the Accelerate Kentucky program, and a great asset for this state. In metals and advanced materials, we are on par with any other state in the nation, one of the top ones. If you ever want to see innovation, take a tour of the Logan aluminum plant. You will see innovation everywhere, because all day long, every one of our blue chip industrial companies and our tech companies have to innovate to continue to be successful. Why am I here today and have a few minutes to talk to you? Well, as Vince said, my name's Anthony Ellis. I'm the Executive Director of KY Innovation. KY Innovation is a part of the Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development. Our job and our mission is to create a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem. We manage the process within state government. We help coordinate resources for entrepreneurs. We lobby for them and tell their story with the legislators and the governor to get those resources. And ultimately, we set strategy. In the MIT REAP structure, I'm the government. Now, personally, I wasn't involved in the MIT REAP program. That was before my time. But when I came to the cabinet and I started to read and research a lot about best practices for entrepreneurship, the principles behind the MIT REAP program are everywhere in the states that are doing it well. The concepts and initiatives have been implemented across our peer states, and one of the things that Phil said, and I think this is true, is entrepreneurs are everywhere. They're in Ghana, and they're in Pikeville, and they're in Bowling Green. We've got incredible talent throughout the state, and the critical mission that we have is trying to provide it with the resources and opportunities to make sure that our entrepreneurs across the state can be successful. In Kentucky, out of the 5 pillars, not all those pillars operate in the same way in each state. Sometimes the universities really take the lead in developing the strategy. Sometimes the entrepreneurs step up. In Boulder, Colorado, for example, they have a really strong, vibrant entrepreneurial leadership community that run the programs and get people to the table and convene on the strategy. In Kentucky, that really falls to us in the government to set a strategy. When we did a listening tour when we first took over in 2020 and started to talk to the entrepreneurs, because there had been some difficulties leading up to that point, and some challenges, as Vince noted, the number one thing we heard from everybody is there's no strategy. Tell us what you want us to do. Give us the mission, and we will help you get there. I think we are making a lot of progress in that area. Frankly, I watched the video and I heard some of the speeches. That's not the Kentucky that I know. And the Kentucky that I know is filled with vibrant entrepreneurs. The Kentucky that I've seen has a lot to be proud of and a lot to be excited about. There is a study out there that said we're 46th. I've also got one that says we're 4th that was done in 2015. I've got another one that says we're 11th. The bottom line is there is a lot happening that every single person in this room that's from Kentucky should be proud of and hold their heads up high. There's a lot of challenges, but let's just talk about some of the good that's out there. We've developed an incredibly strong regional hub program. We have regional hubs across the entire state that work together, collaborate on monthly calls, set common policy, and pool their shared resources to build good products that are useful, impactful, and easy to use for our entrepreneurial community. That's a new thing. We have a monthly call with them. We've added a new hub in Bowling Green. Buddy Steen is here. He's our regional hub director here. We could not be more excited about that, and we are seeing results. That hub system is responsible for $70 million of private funding coming into the Commonwealth. They've served over 3,000 different entrepreneurial meetings last year. That's a lot of one-on-one engagement. And from that, we saw a lot of good. We launched a statewide tech transfer office, KCV, Kentucky Commercialization Ventures. It's one of the first of its kind in the nation. It's already won 2 national awards. That program brings together every single institution of public higher education and gives them a common tech transfer office in partnership with our R1 research universities, UK and U of L. So that means whether you are at a technical college or EKU or Pikeville or anywhere else or Western, and you've got a good idea, if your university does not have the funds or resources to have a vibrant tech transfer program, we've provided it for free to you. We've already had an advanced manufacturing patent come out of our community and technical college system, and EKU researchers winning national awards. This is something we should be incredibly proud of, because the United States, the national recognition is coming for what we're doing. We're seeing a more streamlined funding system and tripled the amount of dollars that go into our entrepreneurial single investors. That's huge. We launched a program in Paducah, Kentucky, First 50K, that was a regionally developed program because our regional directors are really, really good and passionate about this work, that brought 3 brand new tech companies with large amounts of funding right into Paducah, Kentucky. And that created buzz. And now they're starting to get a lot of inquiries from all the companies that didn't get picked for the first 50K of whether those opportunities are still available to them to move there. For talent development, we added a second cohort to the Governor's School of Entrepreneurship program because the demand is so high in Kentucky's youth for this kind of education and experience that and it's a free program, that this is what they want to spend their summer break doing. They want to become entrepreneurs because they're excited about the opportunity to grow businesses and get involved in this world that we're building. We saw research grant funds at our universities increase to the highest amounts they've ever had. U of L announced this week they got the largest haul in grant dollars they've ever seen in their history, and that's because the quality of our researchers is better than it has ever been. UK is doubling down on innovation. They made it one of their strategic priorities as a university to ensure that innovation and entrepreneurship occurs and is fostered. And we were able, and this is something I'm incredibly proud of, because it's been a challenging 2 years, we pivoted on a dime during COVID to make sure that every single entrepreneur had access to virtual resources to help them in whatever problem they had. I looked around at midnight a lot of times with our entrepreneurial community, still working to make sure that whatever we needed to solve the next day was happening. And we have gazelles. We've got great gazelles. We're on the Inc. 5000, we're on the Inc. 500. We've got companies that are rapidly growing all over the state. Now, where's our problem? I can tell you a big one: storytelling. We don't tell our story in Kentucky well enough. And that's because it's true, we don't tell our story well enough. We let something like a statistic created by a group of researchers that says we're 46 make us believe that we are not doing great things. But we have tons to talk about. Now, that's one of our strategic priorities. We are working very hard to coordinate and convene storytellers to make sure that when we do something, see, this is a problem in the South, and I'm not from here. I'm from New York City. In New York City, if we win an award, we buy a billboard. We take it out, and we say, look at what we did. When I got an A on the report card, my mom printed that out and posted it on every single telephone pole in our neighborhood. When I made Dean's List and became a lawyer, there wasn't a person in New Jersey that didn't know I was the first in my family to go to school and become a lawyer. In Kentucky, we could cure cancer, and you would have no idea because that person would just be like, yep, cured cancer, and then just go about their day. Probably cheering for a college sports team, We don't tell our story well enough. That is something that we are going to work tirelessly to change. And that is something that I'm incredibly proud to be working with Accelerate Kentucky on, to become better storytellers. Now, one thing that we're going to do immediately is change the website. We can't have individual meetings like this all the time. We don't have a great website. The website's the first place to go to tell a story. By October 30th, you're going to see a better website in Kentucky. A website that's informative, that tells your stories, that gives media. We've got great media too. So, I guess I'd close with this. This is a hard job. Entrepreneurship, and I'm sure Dr. Phil will tell you, both Dr. Phils would probably say the same thing. You go into entrepreneurship, you're a little bit crazy because it's going to take 7 to 10 years before whether you know whether you did a good job or not. If we do the best job in history over the next 2 years, no one will know it for a decade. and it's constant. Because if we do a really good job, it's going to increase the number of entrepreneurs that are going to need help. So we're always going to have limited resources to meet a great challenge. But there is never going to be anything more rewarding than doing this job, working hard every day to build the Kentucky for the future. So I look forward to working with all of you to do that. Thank you so much for having me.